So I recently made a poll on YouTube asking you guys which of these games you most wanted to see me play. Well, the people have spoken. This is definitely the cutest game on this list. I mean, just look at that lamb. I'm sure something as cute as that could never perform acts of unspeakable evil. I have heard a lot of great things about this game and decided to play it for 100 days. My goals were to finish the story by beating the main bosses, decorate my base so it looks incredible, and build up my unique little community to become a thriving ecosystem.
But life finds a way.
We start the game all tied up in front of 4 frog spider fish looking monsters. They tell me they killed every sheep and I must die so they can live. Roll credits, I guess. But no, we are saved by the one who waits. For the small price of starting a community in its name, I'm transported to a starting level where I demolish the enemies. I met Ratu, who tells me to continue through the woods with him as my guide. I found this poor lost guy and sent him to meet me at my place to find his purpose. I changed up his look and named him Bacon. Welcome to the first member of our gang. I told him to chop some trees and I built a fire to cook food on. I left Bacon to his task and set off into the dark woods. I found a cool new weapon and smacked some dummies. I stumbled upon Klonek and got a nifty poison damage card. I made it all the way to one of the 4 bishops who summoned a huge froggish thing named Ducius to stop me.
Damn, you're ugly.
Defeating this mini-boss granted us another another friend. I named him Gerald, of course. It seems I'll have to fight a few more of these mini-bosses before reaching the level boss. I could tell at this point that I was hooked on this game already. Before we continue, I first gotta tell you about the sponsor of today's video. Just imagine this. You are unwinding in your own resort far away from the stress of daily life. Curious? Of course you are. Join in on the journey of where you can feel like a millionaire and make your own rules. Will you help your friends or create chaos where you go? Monopoly Go is the perfect way to live out this fantasy in 5 to 15 minutes bursts of engaging gameplay. It's a fresh twist on the original game and with everyone's favorite Olark as your guide. Success is inevitable. Live out your dream in this amazing resort building sim by constructing cities, playing minigames, collecting cards, and reaching important milestones. Be the architect to your own beautiful haven in stunning locations from New York to London as you race around the board. I used to play Monopoly so much with my family and friends over the holidays. And what better way to enjoy this adventure than sharing it with others? Monopoly Go can be played solo or in a group where you can reach your goals and complete community chest events together. Just when you think it's all going your way, you might suddenly end up in jail. Enjoy a modern twist on the classic Monopoly experience and get a taste of the billionaire lifestyle in the game. Click the link in the description or scan this QR code to open the doors to your millionaire resort in Monopoly Go. Install the game right now and feel like a true tycoon. This really helps out my channel, so I would really appreciate it. Back at the base, we construct a cool statue and a little meeting house where I tell everyone about my vision for our future. For their love, I gain another heart permanently. Back into the Darkwood I go. Ratatouille teaches me a new range technique and I find a cool looking axe. These enemies didn't stand a chance. Things heated up even more when I got real lucky and found the very OP poison damage card again. I accidentally interrupted these worms' lunch and bought some salmon before crushing their tables and running away. I met Haru, who gave me a stone fragment. Very cool, thanks. With a fast new sword, I sped through a bunch of levels again until Lechi decided I had gone far enough. I destroyed his minions with ease and faced the mini-boss Valafar. This was my first real test and I emerged victorious. Easy peasy. I made 2 more friends, Muri and Frank. Muri enjoys hanging out by the statue and Frank helps Bacon with getting more wood. I built a nice little fire to celebrate our progress and taught my friends how to dance. I unlocked poison weapon spawns and did some chores around the base. Back in the dark woods, I found a poison weapon and a tentacle ability. I got the hang of aiming it and used it to turn more enemies into dust. With sword and tentacles in hand, I crushed the non-believers and made Kudai for a big old poison axe. Right before fighting the boss, I entered this fever dream of a chamber where Ratu is chilling out. This healing chamber may be good for health, but definitely not for sanity. With my hearts restored, I easily dispatched the third mini-boss called Barbatos. The one who waits is pleased with my friend making skills and granted me the ability to know what they're thinking. Spike joins the group and promises to serve us well. I unlocked farming, which is great because I gotta feed our growing community. I dug up some farm plots and plant some berry bushes. Geralt really wants me to feed him some grassy gruel. I went dancing around the fire again to lift our spirits. Ratatouille taught me the ways of dancing without a fire, which is a total game changer. I immediately tested it out and was not disappointed. It was time for a meeting where we talked about what happens after we die. Just typical meeting things, you know? I built a farming station so I don't have to do it all myself. Muri asked for a sleeping bag. Wow, is the ground not good enough anymore? Talk about being spoiled. I arrived at a lonely shack to find Ratatouille, who challenged me to a game of knucklebones. We beat him twice and then head back to the dark woods, where of course Leshy was waiting for us again with the same old threats. Psh, be more original, you boring heretic. I met a kitty called Fornius and I really liked this fat cat's hat. I also came across a fish Airman. He was kinda rude, but I'm happy to see that there's a fishing minigame. My favorite. Right before the boss room, I was lucky to find a Bane axe too. Oh boy, Leshy, it's definitely going down. Leshy spawned a few waves of enemies before being turned into a grotesque worm tree kinda thing. He didn't stand a chance against my axe, and I only took one hit before beating him. Another creature wanted to join our community, so naturally I turned him into a chicken and named him Steve. My plans for expanding the base were halted as there was no more trees around to chop down. I was able to unlock the lumberyard, but of course you need wood to build it. I got a scarecrow to keep those pesky birds away from our crops. After another meeting, I unlocked the stone mines. Spike pulls me aside to say Donkey could be a spy. Do I see a sacrifice in his future? Our followers are still sleeping on the ground, so I did the right thing and made flower decorations to boost their spirits. I cleaned up the base a bit so my friends don't live in filth while I'm gone. I head to the new area called Pilgrim's Passage. I caught some fish for the fisherman's quest and decided to stand on the pier for a second to relax. This creepy dude must have heard about my superior fishing skills and suddenly appeared to ask for a big fish. Next to this pier was the lighthouse, where these poor fellows were complaining that they need wood. I instantly forgot that I was saving wood for a lumberyard and gave them all I had. What a big brain move. I unlocked shelters to upgrade the sleeping bags. Maybe now my followers can be a bit more content. We held a meeting about how it is bad to have material possessions, so I should look after everyone's gold. I got this awesome fleece that lets you start a run with 4 random cards. I don't know if this is a good idea, but we doing it. After more chores, I unlocked the Anura and picked up a vampiric weapon. I hope this thing actually works. Frogs are so adorable, so it was a real shame that the enemy frogs became such a big problem for me. I was starting to take way too much damage, and before I knew it, the boss made me count my first death of the run. Back at the base, Frank was starving, so I made him eat something right away. I sadly noticed I'd lost most of my wood when getting martyred. Oh well, guess I'll get some more. I really want my community to be comfortable, so it was time for more shelters. I even moved them to a nicer spot. We got a new guy called Steven, but he wasn't a good fit for our group. Bye Steven. Back in the mushroom level, we find a spider who is willing to part with his prey for the right price. All welcome Rain the Deer. With a gauntlet weapon and a tentacle ability, I was ready for round 2 against Gusion. It was a tough fight, especially with him constantly spawning frogs everywhere. Gusion fell and the one who waits was pleased once more. He taught me a very effective way of dealing with traitors and fools that can boost everyone else. Very cool indeed. Bacon annoys me with these never-ending requests for stuff. This time he wants needs lumber yards and stone mines. Yeah, I'll build them, but not because you asked. I had to celebrate the defeat of Gusion with another feast and built more shelters. For Bacon's insolence, I had to try my new ability out on him. Bye, Bacon. I was confident that investing enough time and effort into my friend's comfort would pay off in the future. Back in Anura, the heretics tried to get me to bow before them. I refused and had to fight hard to get through the next few levels. I met Kemak, who taught me about relics, which is a super strong rechargeable ability. Wow, this one looks awesome. I reached the next mini-boss, who turned out to be a giant bat.
I'm vengeance.
I took it out without taking a single hit. Onesie was real hyped about the win and told me about making an offering chest where I could sell items. Donkey wanted to eat some poop and instantly got sick. What a shocker. John joined the group as well. It's starting to get kinda difficult keeping track of everyone. At the daily meeting, I promised that we would bury anyone who dies of natural causes. I headed to a new area called Spore Grotto, where I met Sozo, who's a real fun guy. And surprise, surprise, he wants like 30 mushrooms. Back in Anura, Haru told me a bit more about the 4 overlords. Hecate popped up as well and instantly drained a bunch of our friends' hunger. Face me already, you coward! The frogs keep sneaking in hits, and I reached the mini-boss weaker than ever. I only had a single heart left, so Zepar managed to cause death number 2. It didn't help that he was a huge frog and I lost a bunch of valuable stone. I was on the verge of rage quitting, but after a few chores, I realized I still had enough stone left over to build a stone mine. Hooray! With my spirits lifted, I decorated with this lava flooring and some lanterns. At the daily meeting, I told the group that I believed my weapons would be stronger from here on out. They appeared to agree, and I headed back into Anura. There, I ran into Haru again for some more story time. Wish I could unread that. Thanks a lot, Bird. This time, I faced the big frog with only half a heart damage taken. I dodged and dashed past his jumping attacks and tongue strike, which seemed to come out of nowhere. With my trusty poison axe, I finally felled Zepar and gained some more stone as a reward. I spared the boss since I really needed my first stone miner. With the rewards from this run, I could also build another silo and some stone mine. Frank was lucky enough to ascend, giving hope to the rest that they might meet the same fate someday. I got back to Sozo with 30 mushrooms. He told me how they can make my followers easier to brainwash. I mean, easier to trust me with their stuff, of course. It makes my flock have super high faith for a few days. And then they get a little sick. I'm sure they won't mind. I crafted a refinery and danced around with my friends. They seemed more in tune with me than ever. Back in Anura, I found a lost snake called Flinky. I pointed him to the lonely shack. I'll meet you there, Flinky, and crush you in knucklebones too. Hecate shows up again later and brags about how much stronger she is than her brother Leshy. We'll see, Hecate. We'll see. We run into Haru for some more disturbing lore. I faced Hecate and she transformed into my greatest weakness, an even more giant frog. Hecate knew she never stood a chance against me alone, so she summoned 8,000 frogs to stop me. My sword wasn't able to cut through the frog army, so I guess that's 3 deaths so far. I welcomed 2 new followers and decided it was time for a group meeting. I learned how to inspire my peeps even more and build a poop house. I'm so happy I don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. But wait, it feels like there's someone missing. Gerald! I buried him with a heavy heart. Steve was kinda old too, so I freed him from this mortal coil for even stronger weapons. Thanks a lot, Steve. Everyone seems to be sick from the mushrooms, so it took all day for me and the new recruits to do everything. I built Alon from the spooder to help. I got the greatest artifact ever, an awesome lightning coal. I used it a few times and made it all the way through the stage without even taking a hit. This thing is seriously strong. We arrived at Hecate again with more determination than ever. I felt much more comfortable in the fight, but then he did this unexpected jump in the 3rd phase. I was devastated. It was my 4th death and the first rage quit of the game. After a good break, I jumped back into it. It was day 27, so I'm over a quarter of the way through. Elon doesn't want to be alone anymore, so I said I'd find his bro. I unlocked a little circle that lets me take one of my followers along to fight with me. Muri took this opportunity to tell me he loves me. I grabbed a devotion buff and held a well-deserved funeral for Geralt. It was so beautiful. With that done, I headed back into Darkwood. I was happy for a break from the frogs, but these crazy jumping worms made me low-key miss them. I was relieved to find the still crazy Ratu for some needed health before stumbling upon another potential follower. I got a strong axe just in time for a grueling 4-stage boss fight, which I clutched incredibly hard. I got down to half a heart in the second last stage, but kept my cool and dispatched the boss. I also got a good look at the boss. Get it? My starving followers were granted a great feast to celebrate my victory. One of my followers was rude enough to die before the feast. How ungrateful. To spare the old donkey from this fate, I granted his ascension. Take care, donkey. I got a farm booster, collected wood, and harvested mushrooms. I quickly built another stone mine and refinery before 2 quick rituals to make sure my flock doesn't get tired or lose faith while I'm gone. Muri's love for me is rewarded. He's so lucky. I'm confident I can beat Hecate this time. I got Muri's extra heart and I'm all fired up. I instantly got the lightning relic and almost flawlessly demolished 4 waves of enemies for another follower. Witness the power of Zeus bats. With my health full, I switched to my dearest poison axe. The cool bluebird warped up some snacks for me. He's so sweet. It's round 3, Hecate. Face me. Have I ever mentioned that I really dislike these frog enemies? Hecate tried everything. Even this absolutely ridiculous uncool move was not enough to stop me. 3rd time's the charm. More like, heck yes! I got the greatest reward of all. I can have frog followers. This gives me a great idea. The one who waits tells me he's proud of my victory. Aw, thanks the one who waits. That's very kind of you to say. I made my first frog follower and he loves poop. 3 of my followers have reached old age, so 2 of them got a retirement gift, a chance to fight each other. I spared the loser. I got other plans for them. Spike lost, so he gets sacrificed for another starting weapon upgrade. I got a few more farm totems and purchased a new follower from Helub. Welcome to the Frog Army, number 2. I unlocked a new area called Anchor Deep. I already love this underwater vibe it's got going. I slayed some more cultists and monsters and got yet another follower. After more excellent combat gameplay, Calamar showed himself and caused a disease on Elon. You won't get away with this. I found Silos and defeated him on the first try. Easy peasy. My frog army is growing very well as I welcome numbers 3 and 4. I cure Elon to show Calamar I can deflect anything he tries to hurt me with. I roused my flock from their slumber for a ceremony about their absolution. The frog army gets blessed and food gets cooked. Muri finally ascends as his reward for winning the fight earlier and his years of loyal service. Just as I began to feel the cult was getting crowded, Rain took one for the team. Rip Rain, my dear. We did some dancing around the fire and I went fishing to celebrate the end of day 34. I bought out the card shop and expanded my farm plots. We got another follower, so naturally I named them Elder Frog. With this, I could level up the cult to level 3. Heck yeah, this really makes me feel like I'm making good progress. Something made number 3 and 4 sick. Feel better soon, my dear frogs. I decided to appoint a tax collector, so my followers could get angry at him for taking their money instead of me. I end off the day collecting poop and devotion, and I'm almost feeling ready to face Calamar, but first, some knuckle bones with Flinky. I might have won twice, but I had even less gold than when I arrived. Right when I think I got the hang of this game, I get the worst luck. I spent the better part of my day crushing Ratatouille, 2, a knuckle bones to boost my money again. I finally got the ability for my farmers to actually harvest the crops as well. So that is definitely gonna be a game changer. Elderfrog approves. It was time to head out into Anchor Deep once more. I discovered Kanko and Bob, who got lost trying to find their way to Ratu for some knuckle bones. I'll have to play them soon. I get some cauliflowers for my flock and easily dispatch some exploding enemies. Oh hi there, little head crab. Don't wanna know what you wanna do with me. Calamar caused a plague on my followers, but oddly enough, the frogs seem unaffected. They are clearly the best follower type. A boss appears and puts up a feeble attempt to stop me. I dispatched it on the first try without taking a hit. More cauliflowers and another follower. Welcome to the family, number 5. I got my followers' faith to increase when I decorate and buff them to work through the coming nights. I collected enough resources for a janitor, so the actual leader of this cult community doesn't have to sweep up everyone's poop anymore. It took longer than I thought since the plague put half of my flock sick in bed. Elderfrog couldn't stand to see this kind of laziness from the youth. Clearly not frog material. I got enough crystals for the lighthouse guys, who were so happy they danced. I made a delicious fish feast for Hopper, who I actually cannot believe isn't a frog. After another ceremony, I got a money collection ritual. As if tax wasn't bad enough, I built 4 crystal trees close to my flock's tents just to show them that their money is being spent on improving their lives. I end off the day facing Clumco and pop in some knuckle bones. Of course, he instantly rolls 2 6s, but I fight back hard and beat him with a little luck. I followed it up with a crushing victory. You're gonna have to do better than that against the Knuckle Bones Master. Sozo was happy to hear that I used his teaching and gave me the last piece I needed for a new fleece. Back in Anchor Deep, I found a slow, heavy hammer. I think I'm in love. Calamar begs for mercy. I don't think so. I save another follower from the clutches of evil. My community is growing very quickly, so I made sure to grab some more food and seeds to feed them all. I encountered Plimbo, who invited me to Smuggler's Sanctuary. Oh heck yeah, I'll see you there. My hammer met its match against this really fast enemy, but I finally managed to smash it after losing a bunch of hearts. Kudai confuses me, so I wreck his stuff. Nothing can stop the easy hammer, and I got a bunch of much needed bones for beating the boss. Loch Ness isn't a frog, so he has to go. You don't belong here anymore. Elon wants to fight his brother. Awesome. There are no rules except welcome also to number 6 and 7. I'm so happy to have you guys serve me. The long-awaited battle of Elon and Nonar has arrived. They slapped each other a few times before Nonar had enough. I decided to spare the loser and I went into Anchor Deep to face off against Calamar. On the way to the boss, I found this very kind tree that I chopped down for 2 diseased hearts. Oh hell yeah, partner. We unlock more decorations, slay the weak non-believers, and make it to the boss chamber. Calamar welcomed me by changing into the spookiest monster I've seen so far. With a huge health bar, my little lamb overpowered the boss first try. We're making some real progress now. Back home, I almost turned my community into a frog nightmare, but settled for making them grass eaters. Hopper ascends and Fanta dies. He must have been jealous. Number 4 has guided 2 more lost souls to me. Welcome 8 and 9. Such good frogs. I unlocked Soul Cradle and surprise, surprise, it's full of spooters. Samura appears and forces me to fight Purple. How despicable. I replace him with a follower from Heleb for only 19 gold. I found a hammer and reached Falcalore. I bonked it without really taking any damage. I converted it to my cult. All welcome number 10 and 11, as well as Peter Parker. I also unlocked the max upgrade tier. We're really going places. I wake everyone up in the middle of the night for a meeting, and they're so impressed they give me more of their gold. Thanks you guys. Number 1 wants some crystals, so I make a quick stop at Anchor Deep. Always nice seeing you, Haru, but I gotta be on my way. I fought hard against some shield enemies and managed to take them down. But at what cost? My hearts, my sanity. It's day 50 and you guys know what that means. Free cake? Nope. We're halfway done with this playthrough. I only have one area remaining, so I'll definitely try to get some achievements after killing the final boss. I saved a new potential follower on the way to the boss, and for some reason, it took most of the day to defeat all these enemies. Mr. Frog, you better be worth this, or you know what happens. A fight to the death. Of course. It's finally time for me and my trusty hammer to face off against Witness Astaroth. My goodness, was this a walk in the cake. I would have smashed him easily, but got martyred by his little minions. Such a cowardly boss. I make a kitchen so I don't have to cook anymore. That's one step closer to being self-sufficient. I encouraged my frogs to open their minds, and they just love being brainwashed. This is perfect. I finally had enough gold to go do some shopping in Pilgrim's Passage, and I bought all of the decorations for the frogs. We bonded a bit with the man that is a fish. Yes, it's the fisherman. We caught all of the fish and I bought all of the tarot cards in Spore Grotto. And yes, I had to buy all of the decorations too. Number 3 wants to woo number 5 with some flowers, and being the good cult leader that I am, I had to accept. And today is a very sad day. Nonar died of old age. Your fight was legendary, Nonar, and you won't be forgotten. We have a feast in his memory and a little brainwashing party for good measure. I collected all the flowers I need and find some horrifying relic in one of the heart rooms with Ratu. Collect another follower in distress, fight my way through hordes of enemies. Enjoy this footage of me wrecking some fools. I faced off against Barbatos. Since it's the first area's boss, it was really simple and I managed to beat it fairly easily. After defeating the boss, I couldn't resist the urge to go into the green light and save another follower for the frog army. I make it to the next boss and defeat it in a few hits. This little lamb is unstoppable. I managed to stop myself from going into the green light again and build a shrine for Sozo, the Enlightened. Elon has perished, which is a big moment for this run. This officially makes us a frog-only cult. In light of the pausing, I welcome number 13 and 14. Hey you guys, remember you are so totally irreplaceable. Then it's off to Anura to find some more witness eyes. You'd think that after bullying an entire frog community, I would be able to handle these enemies better. You would be so wrong. Bad frogs, no mercy for you. We welcome numbers 15, 16, 17. Sheesh. This is getting crazy. Funnily enough, I feel more connected to the individual frogs than the different creatures of the early game. Is that weird? I made sure to put my new decorations to good use at the end of the day. Number 1 started this whole movement, so he was granted ascension in his old age. Number 3 was not so lucky. Bad luck number 3, you chose the wrong time to get all. It's finally time to fight more spooders. I unlock the last missing area, Midas' cave. Then Samura shows up. He tries in vain to get the lamb to submit, but I will not bow. I'm gonna mess you up. After countless battles, we finally make it to the second boss of Soul Cradle, Vepar, a creepy centipede who spews poison all over the battlefield. We defeated, of course. That's one step closer to facing off against the last of the heretics. Just before heading back to my cult, this thing or whatever appears to me, who speaks to us in some kind of language. I'm sure this won't be important later. Unsettled by that strange encounter, I trick number 15 into eating poop. What a fool. I miss Peter Parker a lot, so our newest frog is Peter V2. You have a big name to live up to, Peter V2. After delivering another successful ceremony to my followers, I unlocked the highest tier of weapons. Together we shall crush our enemies, my frogs. It was fight pit time. A frog favorite. I make my 2 oldies, number 2 and 6 battle. And number 2 comes out victorious and I grant him the killing blow. We meet Midas, who looks totally trustworthy. Not only does he want our coin, but also our gold bars. I'm way too broke to afford anything at this scammer's cave, so it's back into the Soul Cradle to face one more mini-boss before the final heretic. We finally run into Shroomy. Oh heck yeah, that's another opponent in Knucklebones. I seriously love that mini-game. Before the boss fight, Samura appears and makes me do the most vile thing. Kill number 9 and 11. My favorite! They are literally irreplaceable. I'll get you for this, Samura. I battled Haruas, the scorpion. His moves are so erratic and unpredictable, but it's nothing for this little lamb. I welcome Scorp into the frog cult. Grow my food, you unnumbered creature. Shun the unnumbered. Except Peter V2, of course. He doesn't count. Before heading out to face the final heretic, I cook up a frog cult special. Fire dance, brainwashing, extortion. Someone eats poop. Sorry, number 15, wrong place, wrong time. I suppose. I faced Shroomy in Knucklebones and got an overwhelming victory. With a little luck, of course. Shroomy, more like losery, am I right? On my way towards Samura, I ran into Ol Ratu for a combat challenge. He says not to use any curses in the next 3 rooms. Psh, I do that most of the time already. I complete the challenge and headed back to Ratu to get a tarot card as a reward. Yay! Would have liked some help though. My recording software bugged out a bit when I fought Samura, but rest assured I got completely obliterated. Anyways, here's number 19. I sacrificed number 7 to the floor tentacle in hopes of gaining strength. Number 20 was quick to replace him. At Midas's cave, I gave him his 20 golden bars and accidentally put gold into the well. I guess we'll know what happens in 3 days. I was real angry at Samura, so I was in a rush to get a proper rematch. For my haste and greed, I got punished hard by the level enemies. For one of the first times in this playthrough, I actually had to retreat back to the base. I decorated around the base a bit, and not just because you asked me to, frog. I turned number 5 and number 8 into little ghost frogs to boost me in my quest to get through that spider-infested circle of hell. Number 5 and 8 really saved my little sheep butt. First of all, they look really cute. Second, they got me to Samura with more hearts than I have ever gotten. This will be a piece of spider cake. The battle goes a lot better. I was real cool and composed. Samura, what a freaking loser. Even with all their jumping and fast moving attacks, I finally struck down the final heretic. No one can stop this cute little lamb. We collect their hearts like a savage and come before the one who waits. Unfortunately for them, they want our crown back. The final boss door opens. But of course, I want to still keep the cult going until day 100. So I gotta make a few preparations. Welcome number 21 and 22. You guys are literally irreplaceable. I also decided to make a quick stop at Anchor Deep for more Eyes of Witness. I finally had enough gold to buy the tarot card from Ratu and the Heart room. I stumbled across a very unlucky room, which made all my red hearts turn blue. It was not looking good. Witness Astaroth punished my moment of weakness and sent me packing back to my base. I was feeling like buying another follower, so welcome number 22, the Orange Frog. Help shows up in my Anchor Deep run and I get a follower for free. Thanks, Buddha friend. Sorry for breaking all of your stuff though. I destroyed a pillar of Calamar by accident and he spawned in looking for a fight. I was taken completely by surprise and almost died. Number 10, volunteered to bite the bullet for me, and Calamar lay defeated once again. Number 23 joins in, and number 5 ascends. I unlocked level 3 for the little ghost station and immediately transformed my 3 top frogs. Welcome number 24. You are only literally irreplaceable. At Midas's cave, I retrieved 3 times the gold I threw down the well. This little lamb is about to go on a spending spree. That means you number 25 and 26. I arrived at Azeroth with a low health but high determination. I managed to read his attacks and get my hits in at the right time, and finally defeated this surprisingly tough mini-boss. Out of respect for his strength, I named Azeroth Fishy, which officially brings our community up to 20 members. At Spore's Grotto, I ran into this mysterious cloaked guy again. And number 8 got a new best friend. I decorated the right side of my base with the proof of my victories to inspire my followers' belief and make my betrayers cower in fear. I think it came out pretty cute. I unlocked the Fleece of Deceased Hearts, and it might just become my new favorite fleece since it's so good. My tax collector made me even more rich, but my followers didn't hesitate to give up even more of their coin after their daily ceremony. This hooded figure that appears from a dark portal doesn't seem so bad. He only wanted to adopt 2 of my frogs in exchange for health. I hope they're happy in their new home. Welcome number 27. I'm sure nothing bad will happen to you, like sacrifice or death by the hands of a hooded guy. I headed to Silk Cradle to get the Lost Eye of Witness. It was great to see Clonek after so long, since I was using the starting cards fleece for most of this playthrough. I beat the next boss, who was a mob summoning spooder. Yep, that's pretty standard by now, and this mini boss was much easier than the one in Anchor Hell. After the loss of so many frogs, number 14 has turned against us. You really gonna wish you didn't do that. I've been doing my best to keep my followers' faith high, but now we have our first dissenter. Look at what you've made me do, number 28. Now I have to build a prison just for you. You shall never leave this place. Hooded figure wants Ratu this time. It was difficult, but I finally granted the request with much sadness and got the final piece from this monster. I guess I am the monster now. You see this guy right here? His name is Gold. His destiny? To be sacrificed to Midas. I gave this one 15 and 16 to Midas to be forever remembered by the strange gold statue. I also managed to get the last of the base game's fleeces. I bought frog number 29 and was determined to get more achievements before reaching 100 days. I got myself some spooky frogs and headed to the dark woods to defeat Leshy without taking any damage. Leshy couldn't stand my disrespect and actually hit me during the battle. Following Leshy's defeat, I welcome number 30, 31, and 32. Now frogs, best believe that you are irreplaceable and like no other, even though we are all the same. I decided to see what was beyond the big spooky boss door. And what do you know? It's the one who waits. The final boss is the one who was the guide by your side all along. It's been 13 days since I opened the boss door. Hope I didn't keep you waiting. The one who waits. I fought hard and managed to defeat 2 of his minions. But then I reached the main event and, well, it was pretty much downhill from there. I tried to fight again with a hammer and managed to reach the next phase. But tried again and couldn't repeat the feat. I returned for round 3 against the big bad boss. And after many rounds of dipping, dodging, and dashing, he was finally at my mercy. I allowed him to join the gang, of course. I was kinda sad that the run seemed to be done, but then I realized there was still a bunch of stuff to collect and I could fight even stronger versions of the previous bosses. I just had to see for myself. I immediately go hunting for Leshy in the dark woods and found Midas, just for him to steal some of my gold. Bad move, Midas. Real bad move. I faced Valafar too, and it has much fancier moves, but no real challenge for a lowly frog called Enjoyer. I gained a god tier and raged when I see I couldn't change the final boss into a frog. How disgusting for Lily, the leader of the frog cult. Enthusiast 2 was a bit tougher, but I emerged victorious once again. Back at base, my cult has everything they could ever need, except somewhere to confess their darkest secrets. Peter V2 takes this opportunity to tell me how much they love soup and fighting. Back in the dark woods, I defeated Barbatos 2 without too much trouble. Leshy 2 must have heard of my prowess because he did everything to chip me out and looked even more scary than before. It was all an act though, as he was still easy as ever. Cower before me, you weakling. I lost track of my frog numbers, so welcome Unknown and Frog. I exchanged my god tiers for some awesome rewards and sacrificed number 22 to go to Enura next. That looked kind of fun. Iligos, Zepar, and Gusion were all super easy and I didn't even die once against them. I defeated Hecate without even breaking a sweat and gained them as a follower. I felt like my goal of defeating all 4 heretics again was within my reach. I invested some time into my frogs with gifts, a ceremony, and everything else I could do to level them even higher. Scorp finally took the bait and confessed their darkest secrets. This brought them to level 7, which meant they became an anchor deep key. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten, my dearest Scorp. I pushed to defeat the mini-boss and came out on top against Celios and Haberim too. Eventually, I got cornered by great scores of seemingly endless mobs and logged another death on day 96. I took the opportunity to make a follower that looks like my dog and called him Marley. With 3 ghost frogs in tow, I went back to Anchor Hell for my revenge. My preparations was not in vain as I easily slayed Basilwob 2 even with all these fancy bullet tricks. I had run out of frog names at this point, so I welcomed one of my lost followers, Mr. Frog. So creative, I know. Time was running out as I reached Calamar, and they were definitely not gonna go down as easily as their siblings. With all these erratic moves and crazy things, I got modded once again. I accepted the defeat this time and decorated my base to close out the run. What a beautiful cult we have got here. I had an incredible amount of fun playing Cult of the Lamb. I got through the main story, beat all the bosses, and built up the cutest frog army ever. I'll be playing this game again very soon on a harder difficulty, since I heard the DLC just came out. Stay tuned for more awesome content. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.